In a recent video, I spoke about the Niners linebacker position and how they're kind of different than the rest of the NFL as they focus a lot more on the athletic profile and coverage abilities of their linebackers in comparison to their run stuff abilities. This has led them to be some of the best linebackers across the entire NFL. And while a huge part of that has to do with coaching, they have some of the best coaches in Johnny Hollins, and they used to have D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh. All those guys were instrumental in getting some of the greatest linebackers the game has to offer currently. And in today's video, I want to talk about their other linebacker, not Fred Warner, but Dre Greenlaw, that often goes overlooked by many fans outside the Niners. I always make it a point to say this briefly. The Niners love linebackers with coverage skills, almost more than pure linebackers themselves. And this is no different in the case of Dre Greenlaw. During his high school days, Greenlaw played safety and corner. But before we jump right into his high school days and what he did throughout his football career, I want to talk about his measurables. Dre Greenlaw at the draft was 5'11", 237 pounds, and came in as 40-yard dash at 4.73 seconds. So now that we understand Dre Greenlaw's athletic profile a little bit more deeply, we can dive into his football career up to this point. During his high school days, as I mentioned, Dre Greenlaw had defensive back specialty. During his first 2 years, he played cornerback and then moved over to safety. And boy, did he excel at both positions. According to Rivals, ESPN, Scout, and 24/7 Sports, he was a 3-star recruit and was listed as the number 35 safety in the country and 6th best player in Arkansas by Rivals.com. Coming out of high school, he had several offers, including from Tulsa, Southern Miss, Memphis, Arkansas State, and Arkansas. Ultimately, Dre Greenlaw did decide to enroll in Arkansas, and they switched his position almost immediately from that corner safety position he was playing in high school to linebacker. And Dre Greenlaw, frankly, picked up this position and never looked back. He was outstanding throughout his days at Arkansas. He amassed some crazy statistics. Across his time at Arkansas, Greenlaw played from 2015 all the way to 2019. He had 321 tackles, 13 for loss, 4 sacks, and also 3 interceptions, 3 passes deflected, 3 fumble recoveries, and 4 forced fumbles. So with Dre Greenlaw's time in Arkansas wrapped up, he decided to go into the NFL draft. This gave scouts the opportunity to dive a little bit more deeply into Dre Greenlaw's game and examine what he did well and what he struggled at. His strengths were he was a 4-year starter and arguably was one of the best linebackers in coverage across the nation. He's phenomenal, and that's largely due to his background as being a corner and safety in his high school days. But they did see weaknesses on his game, such as he looked small, plays small, rare trigger to downfield and attack, lacked aggression. They didn't really see him as a true linebacker, but more like a safety playing a linebacker's role. But the Niners at this point, under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, knew exactly what they were looking for in the linebacker. And that was someone much like Fred Warner, the ability to coverage, flow sideline to sideline, and really, if you just put on a little bit of weight and get coached up by our coaches, you'll be phenomenal. And the Niners decided to draft Dre Greenlaw in round 5, pick 10 of the 2019 NFL draft, and they've never looked back. Dre Greenlaw made an immediate impact for San Francisco as a rookie, despite being a 5th round selection. He played in 16 games, had a total of 92 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Greenlaw played for San Francisco from 2019 all the way up to recently in 2022. His worst year was in 2021, but that was mainly due to injury. In 2022, he came back better than ever, playing in 15 games, amassing 127 tackles, 82 solo tackles, 45 assists. He also had 6 passes deflected, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 touchdown. Ultimately, very impressive and a great step in the right direction for Dre Greenlaw. So with Dre Greenlaw playing in the NFL, what did scouts get right and what were they absolutely wrong about Dre Greenlaw? The things they got right is his coverage ability, highlighted by those 6 deflections last year and his interceptions throughout his NFL career. But the scouts frankly didn't know what they were talking about Dre Greenlaw's aggressiveness. He has a dog inside that just won't quit. He's one of the 49ers' most aggressive defensive players, and I absolutely love it. He flows sideline to sideline, and last year he should have been an all-pro player, but he's not very recognized outside of San Francisco, so hopefully that changes going forward. Ultimately, despite Dre Greenlaw not getting the recognition he deserves, I envision that San Francisco will continue to have success on their linebacking front. And while they don't do what the rest of the league does, this is perfect because often innovation is made by going against the grain.